Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In previous video, we have seen the quick overview of AI text summarizer using the Gemini. So if you haven't watched that, please check out the link in the description of this video. In this video, we are going to start the development of the backend of this application. And just an announcement that I'm going to give away the free UI source code for this one. Whatever the interface you are seeing, you are going to get it from the description of this video as well. So you can see the whole design is something like this. Back to summarizer, and here we have the sorting, and if we click on any, you will get this, and if you try to delete anything, you will get pop-up like this. So this is a pretty nice interface. You are going to get it for free. This is just to practice on the uses of AI endpoints. So first thing what we have to do is we have to start and we have to do the setup of our project. So let me click on this, and over here search for Spring Initializer. Click on this one. Over here you can give any package name for this. So I'm going to give com.vd.text.summarizer. Copy this, give it the same for this one and also for the package one. I'm going to put the link for this one as well, the downloaded one. That will be the template for a beginning. So I've selected Java 3.5.7, jar and 17 Java version. So click on this. This will generate zip file will be downloaded. So this one is downloaded. Let me open my folder. Okay, so here we are. So let me extract this. Right click on this, show more, extract here. So if you see, we got this. Now let me import this one over here. So click on this, open, and I'm going to go to C, users, and wherever you have kept your project, you can explore there. I'm just trying to explore the downloads, and I'm going to select the com.vd.textsummarizer. Click on this, click on OK, this window, because I have already opened an existing project. That's why it's showing in that way. Okay, so it will take some time and it will render it. So it's done. If you see over here, we have the main and we have the application over here. Okay. Next thing what we have to do is we have to get the Google Gemini key. So for that, go to browser, go to this one and search for Gemini console. Click on this. Over here you can see this get started. Click on this one. I have opened another Gmail, so let me just do it. Okay, so you have to search this Gemini console. Click on this. Make sure you have selected the correct Gmail because I have multiple, so it selected another Gmail account which doesn't contain the actual key which we have connected. So get started and it will open something like this. You have to create or click on this get API key, and over here you can see one existing key is already there. So I will show you by deleting the key. Okay, create the key, and I will also delete a project. Actually, one project is required and this is a free tier, so that's fine. It will work as expected. So go to API keys. Over here you can see create API key. Now this will be the interface. Whenever you come for the first time, you will see something like this. So create API key. Over here you can give any name to this key. So I'm going to give AI text summarizer key. And we don't have any project, so create project. Give it the same name. And create project. Now it's loading the project and it's automatically selected the AI text summarizer. If you are watching this video after a while, then you can go and explore the YouTube for another project, another way of doing this setup. So the interface might change with time, but for now, this is the same. So create key. So here we got this. Now we can copy this key. And first thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and we are going to set the key in the application of properties. Go to resources and application of properties. So first thing I'm going to set the key. So for this one, there is a key which we are going to use, Gemini.api.key is equal to this one. So I have pasted. Don't try to copy and use this because I'm going to delete that key after this video. Okay. Next thing is what model you have to use for the Gemini. So Gemini.model is equal to Gemini-2.0 dot flash -exp. So I'm going to use this. Before we start developing this one, first thing we have to add some of the dependencies. As we can see, we have only added the web one, but we are going to use the MySQL and other one. So let me quickly copy those. So we need JPA, we need MySQL, we need Lambog, and we need Gemini. So these four we are going to paste it. So let me make some space over here and paste it. If you observe, I have added the Spring Data JPA, where I have added MySQL connector J, I have added Lambog, and I have added Google Gen AI. So let me just click on this. This will render and will download all the required jars. So that one is done. Next thing, we have to go to application or properties and we have to add all the required properties like the MySQL database configurations and JPA configurations. Gemini we have already added. So let's quickly add those. So if you want to add comment into this one, you can directly add like this, MySQL database configuration. So in this one, I'm going to add the string data source dot URL is equal to, in this one we have to add JDBC :MySQL // I'm using the local host, so localhost :3306 / and whatever database you want to keep the name of that database, you can use it. So I'm going to give it text underscore summarizer underscore DB question mark create database if not exist is equal to true. So this will create the database in the table. You don't have to go to your database and create manually. It will automatically create. Okay. Next flag which I am going to give is and use SSL is equal to false, and another one is I'm going to give is server time zone is equal to UTC. You can change it as per your choice and also allow the public case because else it will start throwing exceptions. So allow public key retrieval is equal to true. Okay. Next thing, I'm going to give the data source username is equal to, for me it's root. Then I'm going to give spring.data source dot password is equal to 123456. Okay. Spring dot data source dot driver, which we are going to use is class dash name is equal to, we are going to use that com.mysql.cj.jdbc. This is suggesting because we have added jar, so it's able to read the package. jdbc.driver. Then so this is the database configuration. Next thing what we have to do is we have to add the Hibernate configuration. Like if you want to, like whenever we are adding a new column or something like that, in that case, if you want to auto update the tables in the database, if you want to see the queries in the console, something like those stuff, hashtag. And before we do that, let me quickly go to the application and let's try to run the application. So if this database configuration is correct, then this will be connected and it will be up and started on the port 8080. Else it will throw the exception. Okay, so this one is connected perfectly fine, but the name for the database which I have given it to the existing one. I haven't created any new database. So let me quickly create a new database. Let me just change the property over here. So DB for video. Okay, let's quickly copy this. And what I was trying to explain here is I'm going to open my MySQL and I'm trying to do this. So here you can see this is showing unknown database. So let me quickly stop this. And what we have added is create database if not exist is equal to true. So if I start again, if you see over here, let's let it start. Okay. So now application is started. You can see Tomcat started at port 8080. Now I will go over here and I will run the same command. So if you see, it's showing that use database change, show tables. So for now there will be no tables because we haven't added any entity or anything. So it will be, nothing will be there. So it means that our configuration is working fine. We have created one new table, new database, sorry. So let's stop this, go to application properties, and over here we are going to add few more. So few more, that is JPA configuration. So JPA Hibernate configuration. Okay. So in this one, first thing I'm going to create, add the configuration that is for auto update. So spring.jpa.hibernate.ddl auto is equal to, and this is the type is update. You can add like create, so that will, what it will do is it will drop everything and it will create again. So but I want update, progressive update. If I add a column, don't drop it, add a column, something like this. So spring.jpa.showSQL, this will show SQL in your console in logs. Okay, spring.jpa.properties.hibernate.dialect is equal to org.hibernate.dialect.mysql dialect. Next thing, this SQL query, that if you have a larger SQL query, then it will be clumsy. It will show in one line and it's very hard to read. So to format this, we can use another property over here. So spring.jpa.properties.hibernate.format_SQL is equal to true. And we also want to, if you want to configure any server port, so by default it's on 8080, but if you want to configure, so server.port is equal to 8080. So now save it. Now our configuration is done. Next thing what we have to do is we have to create different folders over here. So right click on this and let's quickly create the different folders or packages. So first package I'm going to create is entity, or we can add, or we can create controllers. So entity, then I will create package DAO, then I will create another package that is controller, then we will create service, then we will create service simple, that is the implementation of service. So first we are going to create the entity. So entity we are going to create as a text summary that we are going to store into the database. So right click on this, click on this, create Java class and to give it text summary. Enter. Now one class is created. In the top of this we will annotate this with entity. so that JPA will know this is an entity and we have to create the table corresponding to this one. Then we have to put the table name. So name is equal to text underscore summary. Something like this, summaries. If you don't add this table or like this name annotation, in that case, what will happen is it will create something like this, text underscore summary. So I have given a custom name. So that's why I have added this. So if you don't add this name, still it will work. Okay. Next thing what we have to do is we have to add @data, because it's a lamb box we are going to use, the getters and setters. If getter and setter is not working, you can manually generate getter and setters. Okay. Next thing, and we are going to add two constructor, that is no arg constructor, another is all arg constructor. Okay. Next thing what we have to do is we have to put the type of the ID. So that will be private long ID. And on the top of this, we have to add the annotation ID, and this will be generated value, and we have to put the strategy. So strategy generated type is identity. So it will be sequential 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. Next thing, we have to add one private string, and this one we are going to give it an original text. Okay. On top of this, column, and I'm going to give it a name. Name is equal to original underscore text, and the column definition is equal to text, because it's going to be larger in size. That's why it's text. Okay, I forgot to put the comma over here. And one more, that is nullable is equal to false. Third field over here is private string summarize text. Again, I will put @column, and the name will be summarized underscore text, comma, column definition, and this will be text again. And we don't have to put the label is equal to false, because this will be generated in the backend and we are going to save it. So definitely whatever the AI will return, we will save it, or the Gemini will return, we will save it. Okay. Private, and this is a local date time. This will be created at @column, and the name is equal to created underscore. Next field which we have is model used. And before we do this, we are not going to directly set the created at. What we will do is, over here we have one annotation from the Spring Boot side, that is pre-persist. What we will do is we will set the date. So protected void on create. What we will do is created at is equal to local datetime dot now. So we have set the time when this one is created. Now let me restart the application and let's see if the table is created or not in the database. And also we will check the query is printed or not and it's formatted or not. So over here you can see this, it's executed one query, that is create table text summaries, and this one is in a proper format. So the query is executed. Now if I go over here, now show tables, and now we can see we have one table. So select star from text summaries. If we do, we won't have anything. If you do this, then you can see we have ID that is of big int type, that is long. And then we have created that its nullable is yes, model used is yes. The original text and summarized text can be long, so that's why it's text. The summarized text is nullable is yes and original text is no, because we have set it there, right? So if you see original text, nullable is false, so that's why it's set it as false. So let me stop this. And next thing what we have to do is we have to create the DAO for this one. So go to DAO, right click on this, Java class, and select interface over here. And this will be text summary DAO, you can write, or repository. Create this one. This will basically extend JPA repository, and this will have text summary, which is your entity you have to pass, and the second thing which you have to pass is what is the ID type, so long. So if I go to the text summary, you can see the ID type is long, so the same thing which I have to pass it over here. Okay, and we have to put one annotation @repository. Make some space. Okay. Next thing what we have to do is we have to create one controller. So right click on this, click on this one, Java class. This will be a class. So text summarizer controller. Create the class. On the top of this, we are going to add the annotation @REST controller. Second thing I'm going to add is request mapping, which will basically define the path at the class level. So that will be /API/summarizer. Okay. Make some space, and we are going to use it from the UI that will be running at 4200. That means that is another origin, and we haven't implemented the JWT based authentication into this one. So that is going to be we have to allow this for all the origins. So @cross origin, and in this one we have to set origins is equal to *. Next thing what we have to do is we have to add the auto wire. We have to auto wire the service, but we don't have it for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a service over here. Right click on this Java class, and we have to select interface. Now we have to add the name over here, text summarizer service. Next thing what we have to do is we have to go to service simple. In the service simple we have to create another one. Right click on this, go to this one, text create class, and this will basically not extend, this will basically implements text summarizer service. And on the top of this we are going to put the annotation @service, and this annotation will basically enable it for bean creation. Basically whenever it will be keep on scanning, then it will found this class which is annotated with the stereotype annotation, that is @service, and it will create the entity or the object of this specific class, which can be injected by using the auto wire at any places. Okay, so we have service now. Now we can go back over here, and over here now we are going to develop the first endpoint. So first endpoint, for that we are going to auto wire, that is nothing but text summarizer service, like this. And the first one will be @post. I'm going to give it summarize. This will be the public, and the response type will be response entity, and this will be of question mark type. Summarize text, and this will accept one request body. Request body, and we have to create one entity for that. So come over here, right click on this, click on this one, and we're going to create summarizer. Okay, on the top of this, I'm going to add @data for the getters and setters, @no_arc_constructors, @arc_constructors. And in this one, I'm going to add private, string, and text. Next thing which I'm going to do is I'm going to add another entity class. Right click on this one, Java class, and we can use summarize response. @data, @no_arc_constructor, @all_arc_constructors. Rename this one. Rename file. In this one, we will have 4 things, that is private, long ID, private, string, original, text, private, string, summarize text, private, string, model used. So these are the 4 things which we are going to respond. You can create a separate package for all the entities, or over here you can create like the entity we are keeping all the DAO, or the one which is transferring the data here and there, and we are also we have kept this entity as well. Okay, you can create a separate folder to segregate those. So request body, and this one, what we are going to do is we are going to accept summarizer request. So summarizer request, like this one, like this. Over here we are going to use a try catch, that is exception handling. In this one, I'm going to handle only illegal argument exception, that is E. And if this happens, then I'm going to return a map of a string, comma string, that is error response is equal to new hash map, error response dot put message, e dot get message, error message dot put, and the key will be status. This is error. Return response entity dot bad request dot body dot error response. Done. Control Alt L in Windows to format this one. Okay. Next thing what we have to do is we have to call the summarizer response. Response is equal to text summarizer dot summarize text. This method doesn't exist for now, but we are going to add it soon. Done. Next thing what we have to do is we have to simply return response entity dot OK with the response. Okay. Now what we have to do is we have to create this summarize text. So let me quickly copy this name. If I go to service, over here we have to go to service, text summarizer, make some space over here, and this is going to respond summarizer response. The name is summarize text. Into this one, it's going to accept summarizer request and request. And if I save it, if I go to this one, and now the error is gone. Okay. Next thing what you have to do is it's showing one related problem. Why? Because text summarizer service simple has given the implementation for this one, but over here we don't have any method. So click on this one, select this, click on OK. Next thing what we have to do is we have to make some space over here, and we also want to do some logging. So for that, private static final logger. Okay, that is from SLF4J. Okay, logger is equal to logger factory dot get logger, and into this one we have to pass the class name service impl dot class. Next thing what we have to do is we have to auto wire the repository. So @auto wire private text summarizer repository text summarizer repository, like this. Another thing what we have to do is we have to get the keys and the model type from the application properties. That's why I have added this in application property so that it's configurable. So @value, and we have to read it. So we have to do like this, comma $, and in the curly braces we have to copy the name. So if I go over here, I have to copy this name, Gemini API key, go to service impl, paste it, and below this we have to define a variable in which you want to assign this. So string Gemini API key. Another one is @value $, then curly braces, and we have to go over here again, copy the Gemini model, move back over here, paste it. Now private string Gemini model, make some space, and here we have the method. So first thing what we have to do is we have to validate the request. So into this one, so I will make some space and I will call this one validate request. With this one we will pass the request. So click on this one, create method validate request. So if you can see, it's void type, nothing is being returned, but it's validation logic, we are going to write it over here. So if request is equal to null, then we're going to simply throw new illegal argument exception, and to this one request cannot be null. This is the first thing. If request dot get text is equal to null, or request dot get text dot trim dot is empty, it means that you haven't passed the blank string. So that's why we have trimmed it. If text is, if we'll trim, and if it becomes 0 size, it means that that was completely space, multiple times space bar has been clicked and it's being passed. So new illegal argument exception, into this one we're going to pass text cannot be null or empty. Again press Ctrl Alt L to format it. Now the validation is done. Next thing what we have to do is we have to get the text. So string input text is equal to request dot get text. Next thing what we have to do is we have to create the prompt. So string prompt is equal to build prompt for summarizer, and to this one we will pass the input text. Let's create one method for this. Click on this, click on this one, create method. Okay, let me cut it and paste it after this method. So this one you can give any type of stuff. So return, and I'm going to simply type a small prompt. Please provide a concise summary of the following text. This is just to add a next line and text, not this one, input text, like this. You can change the prompt, like if you want a point wise or something else, paragraph wise, something like that, so that you can give it. We can see how this will behave after changing the prompt. Okay, so now the prompt is ready. Next thing what we have to do is we have to create the client. That is coming from com.google.gen AI, which we have added the dependency. So this will be client and is equal to create Gemini client. Hover on this one, click on this, create a method. Let's cut this. Now follow the sequential order. Okay. So this will basically do what we have to do is simply return new client dot builder dot API key. This client, I guess we have imported it from wrong. Client google.genai.client, correct? This we have new client. Okay, this builder is wrong. So builder dot API key. Yeah, this one we have to pass the key. So Gen AI API key dot build. Press Ctrl Alt L to format it, or you can, what we can do is we can do like this. Dot build. So it will be more readable. So now we got the key as well. We have created the client. Next thing what we have to do is we have to simply call string summarized text is equal to generate summary with error handling. This one we have to pass the client and we have to pass the prompt. Which prompt we have to use? Hover on this, create method. It has created a method. Let me quickly cut this and add on the end of this file. Okay. Into this one, what we are going to do is we are going to use this try. And into this one, we are going to use simply generate content response, which the Gemini is going to respond with. Response is equal to client dot models dot generate content. Into this one, we have to pass the model, that is Gemini model, and we have to pass the prompt. We have to pass the configuration as null. Next thing, what we have to do is we have to cache the exception EX to this one, and we have to log the error if it is wrong. Log dot error calling Gemini API colon curly braces comma EX dot get message comma E, and throw new runtime exception, that is error calling Gemini API. And over here, after this, if this one is generated, simply we will return the response by extracting the values from it. So I'm going to create another method, that is extract text from response, and to this one we will pass the response. Hover on this one, create a new method, move back over here, and we will check if response is not equal to null, and response dot text is not equal to null, and not response dot text dot is empty. If these are the case, in that case return response dot text. Next thing, if this is not the case, then throw new runtime exception, that is unable to extract summary from Gemini response. Now we got this. Now if we move back over here, now we got the summarized text. Next thing what we have to do is we have to save this to the database and we have to build the response and return to the UI. So move back over here, simply call text summary is and saved summary. This is which database is going to return. So save summary to database, and to this one we will pass the input text comma summarized text. Save this, hover on this one, create a method. Let me click at this and go to the end of this file and paste it. Save summary to the database. So into this one what we have to do is we have to simply create the text summary. This is the entity. So text summary is equal to new text summary dot set original text. Into this one we will set the original text, or we can call input text. Then we have text summary dot set summarized text. Then we have text summary dot set model, which we have used. So Gemini model, and then we have text summary saved summary is equal to text summary repository dot save, and to this one we have to pass the text summary. Now this will save, and after saving we will simply return the saved summary. And if you want to log which ID is being saved right now, what is the ID of that? So log info dot saved summary to database with ID, saved summary dot get ID. Now move back to the top, and over here now we got the saved summary. Now after saved summary, what we have to do is we have to simply return by building the request. So response build summarize response. To this one we will pass the saved summary. Save it, create a method, cut this one, scroll down to the end, save it. Into this one what we will do is we will simply do return new summary response, and into this one we will pass the saved summary dot get ID, saved summary dot get original text, saved summary dot get summarized text, saved summary dot get model used. So now this one is done. Now let's simply close this. Now this will build and this will return the request. So now over here if you see, we have validated the request, then we have built the prompt for summarization, then we have created the client, then we have called the endpoint and we got the summarized text, then we saved into a database, then we have built the response, and now we will test the endpoint. So let's start it. Let me open the Postman in meanwhile. So here you can see this, our application is up and running. Just give me a moment, let me sign in. Okay, so now I'm in. So first thing what we have to do is we have to put this http:// that is port is 8080 for us, and we have to start with the post stuff, right? So our endpoint is of type post, and we have to go to the body, raw, and we have to select the JSON. So in this JSON, we have to only pass the text, right? With the key as text. And we have to pass any item, whatever you want to add. So I'm just going to copy one big stuff and paste it over here. Copy and paste it over here. Dot. And we have to also update the path. So move back over here. And go to the text of controller. Then we have this API summarizer. Then we have /summarize. Summarize. Now let's send this and go and check the logs as well. Okay, so here you can see this. This is inserted into the database. Now we got the response as well. So this is a full text which we have passed, if you observe, and this is a summarized text, artificial intelligence, particular machine, blah, 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 blah. Then this one is completely small stuff as compared to the original. And the meaning, the important content is added into this one. Now quickly check into the database if this one is added or not. So select star from text summarizer. If I click on this, if you see, this one is added properly. So let's do like this. So over here you can see this. This is the original text and this is the summarized text. So this one is added and the ID is 1 and created at 29/10/2025 at the current time. So this one is added. This is the UTC time. That's why it's showing as 5. Else right now the time is 10:31. Okay. So if I move back over here, so the current API is working fine. Next thing what we have to do is we have to simply add few more endpoints. That is one for health check, one is for to get by ID, and one is for get all summaries. So if I move back over here to our development stuff, let's quickly close this. Move back over here, go over here, and into this one I'm going to add a get mapping. /summaries. Public response entity. To this one we are going to return list of text summarizer or text summary. Into this one we are going to make some space, get all summaries. List of text summary. Summaries is equal to text summary service dot get all summaries, and simply return response entity dot OK, and into this one we will add the summaries. So this is not available, but if I go into this one and we will quickly create the summary. So this will basically return list of text summary get all summaries. Save it. If I move back over here, you can see the error is gone. But if I go over here, then now the error exists. So hover on this one, click on this, implement method, select on OK. Okay, this has also been added in the between. So quickly cut this up. Go to the end of the file, paste it. So into this one, there is a very simple implementation, that is text summary repository dot find all. Okay, we have to add one repository. Into this one, we have to add one query. So over here, we will simply add list of text summary, and this one find all by order by created at DESC, in the descending order. So if I move back over here, you can simply find all by order ID created at DESC. Now let's rerun test this endpoint. Go to this one, move back over here. This is the same, copy and paste it over here. So this is get, but if I move back over, summaries. If I send it, and you can see this, we got only one we have for now. If I try to do the same again, okay, so it gave the another one. If I go over here, if I send it, you can see we got the 2, right? And you can see there is a different response for both. Okay. Next thing what we have to do is we have to get the summary by ID, and we have to add another endpoint for deleting and one for health check. Okay. So let's move back over here, stop this, minimize this one, and this one we are going to add the @get mapping into this one, double quote slash, and we have to pass the ID. This is a path variable, and we are keeping it in path variable because it's mandatory. So public response entity. Now this one, it will be question mark because it can be a generic one. So it can either be summary or some error or something like that. So get summary by ID. And this one we are going to accept in the path variable. Try, and then catch. Let me scroll up a bit. Let's make some space. Okay. So in the catch, we are going to catch the illegal argument exception. X. You know, this one, if again there is an error or something like that. So let me quickly copy this one. Move back over here and paste it. So error message and EX. The error is error, and in this one it will not be a bad request. We will remove this dot status, and in this one we are going to pass the HTTP status dot not found dot body. We are going to pass the error response. Then Control Alt L to format it. Okay. Next thing what we have to do is we have to put over here, which is going to return the text summary, and summary is equal to text summary servers dot get summary by ID, and into this one we will pass the ID. This method doesn't exist for now, but we will create it. So return response entity dot OK, and this one we will pass the summary. Now move back to the service. In the service, we are going to create this summary. Text summary, get summary by ID. And with this one, we are going to accept the long ID and save it. If I go back over here, now the error is gone. Move back over here, and now the error is appeared. So click on this one, and implement method. Click on OK, click on OK. So in the end, we have added. So into this one, again it will be a simple one. So text summary repository dot find by ID, and with this one we will pass the ID and or else find by ID, or else throw, and we will pass the exception by the lambda function. So new illegal argument exception, into this one we will pass summary not found with ID, and whatever ID we have to put, ID, like this. Now quickly test this. Start this one, go to the controller, it's the same entry over here, but in this summaries we are going to get all the list, but in this one, so click over here, get slash the ID is 1. So now application is up and running. Cat port 8080, move back over here and send this one. So you can see it returns only 1. The ID is 1. If I try to fetch 2, it will return 2. Okay, so this one is working as expected. Next thing what we have to do is we have to start with the delete summary. So move back over here, stop this one, minimize this, go over here, make some space, @ delete mapping, do this one slash summary slash ID. This is for delete mapping. So public response entity map string comma string delete @ path variable. If you face any issue related to this project, do let me know in the comment section. Okay, so this one I have added by mistake, Control Alt L to format it. Or you can contact us on Instagram as well. So, okay, next thing we have try and catch, that is exception handling. So illegal argument exception, EX. And again, I'm going to copy and paste that. EX. And this status will be not found. This will be the thing. Okay, so over here what we are going to do is again text summary dot delete, and this one we are going to pass the ID. Again what we are going to do is we are going to put the map of string comma string response is equal to new hash map, and simply put response. Okay, return response. Okay, and the response we will put response dot put message summary with ID plus whatever the ID we are going to pass plus has been successfully deleted. Next thing, response dot put status success. Save it. Now move back over here to the service. In the service we will declare it. The type is void. So void delete summary. Do this one long ID. Save it. If I move back over here, now the error is gone. So response is map of string comma string. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's asking for a response entity type. So response entity dot OK, and to this one we have to pass the response. So now the error is gone. Next thing, we have to go to the service sample, and here we will see the error. So move back over here, hover on this one, implement method, click on OK, and now have this delete summary. So now if I go back over here, so over here simply what we have to do is we have to simply call text summary. Summary is equal to get summary by ID. First thing, we will check that if that ID exists or not. So this is the one which we have earlier created, and if this one is not found, then it will throw the exception. In that case, we have already handled the exception in the REST controller. Okay. Next thing, we have to simply call text service repository dot delete. This is provided by the JPA. Delete by ID. Into this one we will pass the ID. Okay, so once this one is deleted, we will simply log it. Logger dot info dot deleted summary with ID, whatever ID we have to pass. Now Control Alt L format it. Now start the application and let's quickly test this delete one. So now my application is up and running on port 8080 if you see. So now quickly move back to Postman and test the delete API. So go back over here, move back, let's minimize this, and the delete mapping is summaries, the ID, the delete. So it's like same to this one with the ID. Let's quickly copy this one, move back over here. The type is different only. So this will, we will select something like this, and now try to send this. If I send it, you can see summary not found with the ID, this one. But if try to send this one, you can see summary with ID 1 has been deleted. If I go over here, so this is to get a specific summary. So 1 we have deleted. So let's quickly type 1 and send it. And you can see this summary not found with the ID 1 error. If I go over here, try to get all summaries. So earlier we used to get 1 and 2 as well. Now we have only 1. And we have finally this summarized, this one which was. So let's quickly test the error scenarios for this one as well. So let's send it, and you can see this text cannot be null. The error which we got, what we have customized for. Apart from this, what the validation which we have did is request cannot be null. That is the one case. And another thing which I have shown you is if I go over here to this one and go to this one, text summary, and over here which I have told you this prompt. So please provide a concise summary for the following text. But if I type concise summary point wise, in that case what we will do is, okay, so I have added only point wise. So let's restart the application and now let's test if there is any difference. So now the application is running. So now our application is up and running on port 8080. If you see, now go over here, send this. Okay, here you can see this. It has given a star pointwise, right? So it means that it's working. By changing the prompt, you can change the response. So whatever response fit for your use case, you can change as per that. Next thing, one small last bit of thing which we have to do in the backend, that is for one endpoint, that is to check the status of the endpoint or the application. So that we're going to connect in the dashboard. So get mapping, and this one, this will be simply health. Minimize this, public response entity and string health check, and this one is simply going to return a response entity dot OK, and this one we will simply return text summarizer API is running. That's it. Now save it and now simply run it. and we will also test this one as well. Open new, paste, quickly copy this much part, paste it, send it. So text summarizer API is running. So it means that our API is working. So for now, my front end is up and running. So let me quickly stop this, and you are going to get this completely for free. The front end part you can go and download from the description. And first thing what you have to do is you have to install npm install you have to run. So for me, everything is already installed, so it will not install anything. Okay, it's found zero vulnerability and everything is done. So next thing what we have to do is we have to simply type ng serve. This will basically run my front end. Now everything is in place. If you have developed the same way by following my video, then you will be able to run it smoothly without making any changes in the front end. So it's building. So we have already tested all the endpoints from the Postman. So now over here, follow the link. So you can see this one is API is connected. Let me quickly stop my backend. Move back over here, reload this, and you can see checking API connection. So right click on this, inspect, and now quickly check the network tab. So if I reload this, you can see health API is being called and it's returned connection error. So it means it's asking for API disconnected, check backend server. You can see this. Okay. So let's quickly cut this one, go over here and run the application. So our backend application. Here you can see this. I haven't made any modification after developing the complete backend. So now we will see if everything is working or not. So move back over here, minimize this one. Let's add a text, the dummy one. So, okay, let's quickly test this one. Okay, API is connected. Now summarize text. Okay. Here you can see this. We got point wise, star point wise. It's 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, another one. So this one is summarized, and we got 96.9% compression ratio, and the character saved is only 10. So this is compared to the text which we have provided and what it has given. Okay. So if I go to the view all summaries, so this will basically get all summaries endpoints. So over here we have only 3 in our current database. These 2 we have tested from the Postman. So we got it. Okay, let me quickly inspect and show you the same. So memory and network, and quickly reload the application, and you can see summaries is being called. If I click on any one, it will call the summaries ID 4. The ID is 4 and that one is being called. So over here, these data are being shown by using the UI code that is comparing it, and it's showing the characters count and everything over here. Okay. So if I click on download, it will create the JSON from the UI itself. We haven't created any specific endpoints because the data is already available at the UI. So we are using from the UI. So if I click on delete, and you can delete this. So in this again, you can see 2, we got 1 got removed. Okay. So we have everything over here, and this formatting and sorting of this stuff is being done at the UI side itself. If you want more feature added to this only for you, then you can contact us on Instagram. You can search for btechdays like this, btechdays Instagram, simply like this. This is the first one, which is ours. You can connect with us and we will give you a small quotation for whatever the task for this one, whatever as per your task, and we will do it for you. So that's it. Now I hope your all application is done for this one. So subscribe, share with your friends, and thanks for watching.